नाजरीन, इस वीडियो को लाइक करें, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकॉन को दबाएं ताकि हमारी तमाम वीडियोस आपको मिलती रहें। ब्लैक को दबा दें। This video is about Sustainable Development Goals. These goals are a collection of 17 global goals designed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. The SDGs, set in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly and intended to be achieved by the year 2030, are part of a UN resolution called the 2030 Agenda. The targets and indicators for the SDGs are included in the UN resolution adopted by the General Assembly 2 years later on 6th of July 2017. The 17 goals are broad and interdependent. Each of the SDGs has a list of targets which are measured with indicators. The year by which the target is meant to be achieved is usually between 2020 and 2030. For some of the goals, no end date is given. The SDGs are made more specific by naming targets and indicators. Most of the SDGs have 8 to 12 targets, and each target has 1 to 4 indicators used to measure progress towards targets. Across 17 SDGs, there are 169 targets and 231 unique indicators. A variety of tools exist to track and visualize progress towards the goals. Work of the Statistical Commission pertaining to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development containing the targets and indicators, July 2017, under UN resolution. There are 169 targets which specify the 17 goals. Each goal typically has 8 to 12 targets shown in detail in the list of SDG targets and indicators. Each target has between 1 and 4 indicators used to measure progress towards reaching the targets. The targets are either outcome targets, circumstances to be attained, or means of implementation targets. The latter targets are introduced late in the process of negotiating the SDGs with all member states. Some were concerned about targets for the first 16 SDGs are mostly outcome-oriented, though some do include means of implementation targets as well. Outcome targets use numbers and means of implementation targets use lowercase letters. For example, SDG 6 has a total of 8 targets. The first 6 are outcome target labeled 6.1 to 6.6. The final 2 targets are means of implementation targets labeled as 6.A and 6.B. The final 2 targets are means of implementation targets. While targets make the goals more specific, the purpose of indicators is to identify the metrics to be used to track progress towards achieving the specific targets. The actual total number of indicators listed in the Global Indicator Framework is 247. Because some of the indicators are used more than once, the total number of unique indicators is 231. Goal number 1 is no poverty. SDG 1 is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Achieving SDG 1 would end extreme poverty globally by 2030. Goal number 2 is zero hunger. SDG 2 is to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Goal 3 is good health and well-being for people. SDG 3 is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Goal number 4 is quality education. SDG 4 is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Goal number 5 is gender equality. SDG 5 is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Goal number 6 is clean water and sanitation. Example of sanitation for all, school toilet. SDG 6 is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Goal number 7 is affordable and clean energy. SDG 7 is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. Goal number 8 is decent work and economic growth. SDG 8 is to promote sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all. Goal number 9 is industry, innovation and infrastructure. SDG 9 is to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. Goal number 10 is reducing inequalities. SDG 10 is to reduce income inequality within and among countries. Goal number 11 is sustainable cities and communities. SDG 11 is to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable. Goal number 12 is responsible consumption and production. SDG 12 is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. Goal number 13 is climate action. It's the most important goal and it's to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts by regulating emissions and promoting developments in renewable energy. Goal number 14 is life below water. SDG 14 is to conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas and marine resources for sustainable development. Goal number 15 is life on land. SDG 15 is to protect, restore and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity. Goal number 16 is peace, justice and strong institutions. It is to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all and build effective, accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels. SDG, the goal 17 is partnerships for goals. SDG 17 is to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development.